And we begin with information on the campaign against the tetanus vaccine, which, as you may know, is gaining momentum. Now, the Catholic Church says it has evidence against the vaccine and has requested to appear before the National Assembly's Health Committee to table findings of laboratory test results to back its claims. Over the weekend, local leaders from Kapenguria urged residents to reject the vaccine. KANU Secretary General Nick Salat and Kapenguria MP Samuel Moroto claimed the vaccine is a population control method. Allegations the government has denied. Now, last week, officials from the Ministry of Health sat before the Parliamentary Committee on Health, insisting that the vaccine has been tested twice and both test results show no traces of contraceptive elements and that it was safe to use.
Increase malaria deaths. We recently partnered with other health organizations and we found out
Well, this vaccine has been circulating through to different women, to different people across the country for about a month now. And Wilkista Nyabwa joins us live from our City Center studio with the very latest on this issue. Wilkista, the very latest pointing to the fact that there is now alleged evidence that this vaccine could contain contraceptive elements.
Good afternoon, Edith. Now, we have seen members of the Catholic Doctors Association appearing before the Parliamentary Committee on Health to discuss their concerns, and they do say that they did issue samples of the batch of tetanus vaccine that has been used in this particular campaign, and that it went to 4 different organizations for testing, and that they did confirm that it contains an element beta HCG, and this is the element of concern that they say could sterilize or render women incapable of carrying pregnancies to term. Edith.
Now, Wilkista, we're being told that that antigen which you've mentioned is potentially one that could have detrimental effects to the population. But what is the Catholic Church saying is the motive behind this, and who is behind this?
Well, the Catholic Doctors Association that appeared before the committee today, just raising concerns, saying that this could be a population control tool, just to ensure that the numbers do not rise. Of course, they do not have proof of motive. What they did say they had proof of was that simply that the antigen that they did have beta HCG. This they say they can say for a fact. However, it is interesting. What is interesting is that the Ministry of Health also said that it had submitted samples for testing and that the samples had come up negative, that they did not contain beta HCG, and so this is an issue of controversy. Edith?
Wilkista, let's just expound on that part. Did they conduct these tests in the same laboratories and in the same manner that the government did? And if so, why, if they have at all given an explanation, are the results different from those of the government?
Well, the Catholic Church in Kenya said it did submit samples to 4 different laboratories, one of which is the very same laboratory that the government submitted its very own sample for the same test. However, it is interesting that while the Catholic doctors say that for them the samples show that turned up positive for beta HCG, the government on the other side saying it did not contain any samples of beta HCG. And therefore, one of the things that came out during this particular hearing, leaders just coming out and saying there should be joint testing so that both sides can agree, can have one common result, and then the country can move forward from this point, because at this point it seems that there is a gray area that has been created by this testing. Edith?
Wilkista, just give us an update on what is happening with regard to the National Assembly's Health Committee. They're currently sitting to listen to this, but is a vaccine still being rolled out in the country?
Well, the leaders have, they did present a suggestion and a proposal. Basically, what they're saying right now is that that the Ministry of Health should suspend the vaccines, and that, you know, it is being rolled out in 5 phases. The 3rd phase has just been completed, and the both sides saying, hold it for a while, let us test it, let us find common ground, after which we can decide how to move forward, because the campaign cannot continue as even as questions are being raised and there's this gray area and people are saying one thing and others are saying a different thing, and also there's a bit of anxiety among persons and the populations that are being targeted for the vaccines, and therefore both sides just talking about suspending the campaign until they can ascertain whether it is a risk or not.
All right, thank you very much, Wolf-Kista Nyabwa, bringing us the very latest on the anti-tetanus vaccine, which has created quite a bit of debate. Remember, you can get the full details of this story in our subsequent bulletins, so do stay tuned to KTN. But still, in news coming out of Parliament, Dr. Lydia Nzomo, she appeared before the Parliamentary Service Commission this morning following her nomination by President Uhuru Kenyatta to be the chair of the Teachers Service Commission. Now, while nominating her, Uhuru asked the House Committee on Education, Research and Technology to approve her nomination as she was the most qualified to take the position. The president had initially picked Kirago Wamagoshi for the position and forwarded his name to Parliament for vetting, but members rejected him based on arguments of lack of merit. Section 8 of the Teacher Service Commission Act of 2012 requires the National Assembly to either approve or reject the nominee to position within 21 days. Therefore, Speaker Justin Muturi asked the committee to report back to the House on the decision on or before the 13th of November, which is this week on Thursday. Where the Attorney General will this afternoon receive more information related to the Anglo Leasing cases from the Swiss ambassador to Kenya. Now, earlier this year, if you remember, AG Githu Muigai handed over 12 boxes with documents from the Anglo Leasing scandal to Swiss envoy Jacques Pitelud. Even though businessman Deepak Kamani, I beg your pardon, moved to court to stop the move, High Court Judge Isaac Lenaola gave the AG the go-ahead to share the files with the Swiss government. This afternoon, Kenyans will learn whether the Swiss have unearthed more evidence in the multi-billion shilling scandal involving prominent Kenyan leaders. The chairman of the National Integration and Cohesion Commission, Francis Ole Kaparo, has asked the government to use a different approach to solve disputes in northern Turkana. Now, speaking during a meeting with the Kenya Editors Guild, Kaparo said the government should instead look for the culprits and deal with them instead of punishing the whole community. He did add that the NCIC is in the process of auditioning all 47 counties to ensure fairness in distribution of personnel, political leaders, and budgetary allocations.
Punishment must be attached to the individual crime. And if operations should be there, it must be, according to me, done for all communities that are in this conflict and done fair. Because among the things that destroy society is the sense that we are not the same. We are not treated equal. We are not treated fair. That's a major driver of conflict. So it must be all of us together.
The National Cohesion and Integration Commission has embarked on conducting an audit in each county to ensure that resources are equally distributed. NCIC Assistant Director Civic Education and Advocacy Kilian Nyambu says the commission has already received information from more than 40 counties with the aim of ensuring ethnic balance in public positions in these counties. George Kogola, British Council Director Programs and Partnership, also noted that the youth need to be involved in cohesion processes since they are mostly the perpetrators and also the victims.
It took us time. We have from the county commission, county government. We were in Bungoma Mountain Gold region. We were now.
You need to be talking to me.
We have so far received information from more than 40 counties, which the commission is analyzing with a view of now presenting this. So far we have been validating, giving back counties what they have presented to us. so that they can see the true picture about how they have recruited, how they have balanced position for different ethnic communities, so that as they are moving forward, we can avoid this issue of saying County X belongs to Xians, County Y belongs to the Yans. We can ensure that the recruitment and even resource distribution is equitable to the different counties.
If the youth are the victims and the perpetrators, and they are the ones who are used by either politicians or anybody else, why should we leave the youth out? So in trying to do that, we have thought it's good that we partner and we engage youth so that when they are told throw stones, they question why. Why should I throw stones?
But also in a devolved governance system, we are hoping that young people can be more active in shaping the direction of the county government. And we want to give them the tools that they would then negotiate and the tools to participate in this process.
Well, let's take you back to Parliament, where Dr. Lydia Nzomo appeared before the Parliamentary Service Commission, and that was earlier this morning following her nomination by President Uhuru Kenyatta to chair the Teachers Service Commission. Patrick Amimo has the very latest for us, and we do understand, Amimo, that potentially the EACC could be holding up her ratification.
Nzomo appeared before the the Departmental Committee on Education. One of the concerns raised by members was that the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission had not presented a report on Dr. Nzomo, yet she did apply for clearance on the 4th of November. The committee was expressed deep concern over this delay by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, and some members did suspect that maybe there could be a sinister motive to deny Dr. Nzomo or this position. Remember, in 2012, during the Kamunge team, when they were trying to interview people for this particular position, Dr. Nzomo emerged top. She was the best candidate from the panel, but her name was not presented to the head of state because a report from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission was pending. So this time round, when her name was again presented to the committee by the president, and Dr. Nzomo did apply for clearance on 4th November, the Anti-Corruption Commission had not presented the report to the House Committee as of now, when the committee was ready to interview Dr. Nzomo. But then they said that they'll go ahead with the vetting process, regardless of what Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission will say. But as the deliberations are going on, the Vice Chair of the Education Committee, Honorable Julius Melly, did indicate that he had some communication from the Anti-Corruption Commission that they will be presenting a report later to the committee, and the report did not have any adverse mention on any adverse thing on Dr. Nzomo. So it is like from the assurance, it's like maybe the Anti-Corruption Commission has cleared Nzomo of any unethical act. So she's clean according to the Anti-Corruption Commission, the pledge they gave to the chairman.
All right, Amimo, now there was concern that Parliament could be running out of time because they do only have 21 days to either approve or reject her name, and they have to do this by the 13th of this month, which is in 2 days. Do we see the possibility of this happening in good time?
Indeed, the committee has promised that they'll be tabling the report to the National Assembly on the 13th of November, as is required. They said they'll proceed with what they have, regardless of whether they get that letter from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. So the members are ready to present their report to the House for debate, and now it will be up to the members of Parliament to either adopt or reject that particular report. So remember, last in 2012, when the name of Mr. Mogoshi was presented to Parliament, the Parliament did reject, citing issues of suitability of this candidate because he was not among the top 3 candidates in that selection panel.
All right. Thank you very much, Patrick Amimo, bringing us the very latest with regard to the appointment of the chair of the TSC. He will be having more details, obviously, in our subsequent bulletins. Right now, though, we have to take a short commercial break to pay the bills, but I do encourage you to log on to www.standardmedia.co.ke and have a look at some of the stories which are being updated by the minute. We'll be right back. Every good thing must come to an end, and sadly, KTN Newsdesk ends at this point. Do remember again to log on to our website, www.standardmedia.co.ke, and follow us while you're at it on Twitter. We are at KTN Kenya. Did you know that as humans evolved, our skulls grew bigger to accommodate our brains, and our jaw, as a result, shrunk? Therefore, it means that we don't have wisdom teeth anymore because they don't fit in our mouths, and those who do have them are only a small population, because the ones who don't make up 35% of the population. Well, now you know 3 things. I won't repeat them for you because we don't have time. I'm Edith Kimani. Good afternoon.